Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Things That Matter with me, Marty McNabb. So, as you know, I am so fond of hearing stories that get attached to things. And of course, it's not the things that matter. It is definitely these stories. And my story sharer today, Annie, is from we were just trying before we got on to figure out how we really connected. And it could have been Vanessa Thorpe, but I connected with Vanessa through Location Indie and Camp Indie. And then I think our first opportunity to actually meet in person was this summer in August at the Everything Conference in Minneapolis. So anyway, it was still we feel like we've known each other for a long time, but we finally got to meet in person, and I am so excited by Annie's work in the world. I took a lovely workshop with her, and you'll find out more about what Annie does in a little bit. But as you know, this first section is the show and tell section. So without further ado, I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to I'm going to hide me and I'm going to have you take the stage and do your show and tell. So thank you so much for joining me today, Annie.
Thank you for having me. It was such a delight to finally get to hang out with you in person, and I hope we get to do lots more of that in the future. So I am a traveler, an explorer, and of course, many of my favorite things are things that I have picked up on the road that remind me of important experiences or whatever. So today I have brought with me Krakonas is his name. He is this little
Oh,
mountain man,
so cute.
and with this is a soda light uh, on his back that I picked up in the Czech Republic, now Czechia. Okay. I don't, should I put him somewhere? I don't know.
Right there.
Um, I can hold him. That's fine. So this little guy, so back in 2015, I had this crazy idea that I was going to go to Europe by myself. This is a thing I had wanted to do since I was young, since flipping through National Geographic, as a kid and hearing about people backpacking through Europe. What is this crazy thing? And so I had traveled, before, but always with other people. And this was, my grandfather died in 2013, which was very impactful. Um, and, just a reminder of the shortness of our time here. And the stars aligned, and I just decided, okay, it's time to do this thing. And so I quit my teaching job at the end of that school year and got on a plane, flew to Prague, and basically I had no plans. I had booked a few nights of hostel at the beginning and a few nights of hostel at the end, and I had a rental car for 6 weeks and a backpack full of camping gear, and that was it. I was determined to let inspiration, serendipity, connections I made determine my itinerary. So my very first night when I landed, I was on the bus into the city, and there was a woman also with a giant backpack and hiking boots and poles and whatever. And she started talking to me. She was Czech and had just come back from hiking and camping in Norway, and was just chatting. And so I asked her, okay, like, where else should I see in your country? And she was so excited that I wanted to go somewhere besides Prague, and was telling me, because she saw my backpack and hiking boots and all of the things. And so she was telling me about Snezka, which is the tallest mountain in the Czech Republic. And that it's a beautiful place for hiking and all of that. So I had made a mental note and went about my 6 weeks. That was not where I went first. Uh, and, you know, that's a whole nother story. I'm in the process of writing a book about it, but we'll get to that some other time. So at the end, towards the end of the 6 weeks, I found myself headed back north into Czech Republic and decided, all right, let's go check out this place. And so I got there, and this little guy, Krakonas, is the spirit of the mountains there. Um, and it was all over the little town where I stayed. And he was very much, has become kind of a symbol of that journey. And so while there, this this whole experience is about nothing going as planned, basically. uh, but so there were a couple hiking trails I wanted to check out, and one of them was the mountain itself. The morning I started out, I actually meant to take the other hiking trail and found myself instead on the one to the top of the mountain. And okay, I guess this is what we're doing today. Um, and there was another statue of this guy like along the way, carved out of rock. And so I did it. I hiked all the way to the very top. Still, even growing up, I grew up in Utah with many, many mountains and have never climbed to the top of any of them because I don't care. Um, but for this one was just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this. So it is still to date the only peak I have ever climbed. Um, and it was just in the last few days of this trip. And it has come to represent just that reminder that I can do anything, even when it's not expected, that I made it to the top of that mountain and it was hard and I was sweaty and I was hungry and it was not pretty. Like it was not pretty, but I did it. And I felt so proud of myself. And it was the pinnacle, literally and figuratively, um, of this like absolutely transformational 6 weeks spent meeting people, visiting places I never imagined I would go. Like all of them were behind the Iron Curtain when I was growing up. This was not accessible.
Yeah.
Um, and that I got to really, really see and experience how very much we humans are all the same. We
Mhm.
come from different cultures, different religions, different beliefs, and that trip really was a reminder that we are so much more alike than we will ever be different, and that we all want the same things. And it gave me hope. And like I came back a different person. This person that you see now is not the same one who pre 2015 trip. It's, and so that's what he is, my reminder of humanity, our shared humanity. Um, yeah, that beautiful things come from the challenges and pushing ourselves to really see what we're made of sometimes. And that, man, nature, she's got all the things that we need. And if we just pay attention, uh, will show us how to live well.
Oh, wow, Annie, I think that is such a perfect object to bring today, which we are dealing with this post-election stuff. This is being recorded the day after the election. So reminding ourselves that we are all much more alike than we are different as human beings is critical. And I love that, you talked about your grandfather, and then this looks like a grandfather, your little kind of gnome
Mhm.
looked like a grandfather, and that he reminded you that life is short and that you wanted to do this since you were a kid. National Geographic got you interested in it, um, and then it's obviously inspired a life of adventure and exploration. So thank you very much for for showing and telling. And you're going to have to email me the name of the guy so I can have that in my notes. So the little guy. One question that I always ask my guests is a follow-up question to the show and tell section is, have you considered what you want to have happen with this thing, this object, this piece of souvenir from your travels when you're dead and gone?
Well, okay, so I have this wild and crazy plan for when I am dead and gone that uh, most likely my niece, but that one of the young ones in my life will be sent on a quest to take my ashes to certain places around the world so that they get to have their own experiences and that sort of thing. And I think it would be delightful if one of them went back to that place and took this little guy and left him at the top. I think that would be amazing.
Oh, I love that. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. It's great. It's surprising to think that that's going to be 10 years ago, so a decade
I
ago, right? How time flies. Oh my God.
It's so crazy. I know. Yes.
It's
It's like
crazy.
that. Like, wait, what? How did that? I'm still 27. I don't know what y'all are doing.
You're forever young. We're all forever young. And
Yes.
it's, yes, yes. So, needless to say to the listeners here, we have skirted around some information about Annie and what she does, her work, and but we haven't really gone into it. So this is the time that I invite Annie to share a bit more about what you do and why you do it and how people can find out more information.
Okay. I will do my best to keep this concise. As you said, we met at the Everything Conference, which is a conference for multi-potentialites, those of us who like to do many things. And so I do many things. Um, One of my favorite things is I do travel planning and help people create their own awesome travel experiences without big bus tours or cruise ships, that kind of thing, that they want to go and have these kinds of experiences out into the world and either maybe aren't really sure how to do that or maybe just don't want to. I have plenty of clients who are like, I just don't want to plan it. So I do that, which is always a delight because every trip is different. What everyone wants to experience is different. Uh, it's not I help you, we work together to create instead of, it's not a, travel agent style. So that's one of the things that I do. I know I mentioned I am writing a book.
Yay.
It is a memoir of this specific trip because it was so like insanely life changing. And also because I didn't plan anything, that like how it unfolded, you can't make that up. It just was some wild and crazy and wonderful magic. So yes, writing is a thing that I love. I do also coaching, and my husband calls this being a secular confessor. That like I am a space holder for people that like just need somewhere to show up as all of themselves, or to maybe practice a difficult conversation, or that need to just be seen and heard in all of their beautiful humanness, and don't really have any other safe spaces in their world to do that. So that's a thing I do, along with then more fun coaching things like helping people get really clear on what they want next being the operative word, because we multi-potentialites, there's no one thing that we're going to do forever, and then we get bored and it's like, well, what do I want to do next? I'm here for it. So yeah, like that, and accountability, and just helping people figure out, okay, now we know what you want, what are those next steps? And then I do some freelance writing, some community management for clients, and uh, I'm basically your handy woman of business, and that pretty much
Fun.
sums up the general things. And I'm a forest fairy in training. Basically, if I can escape to the forest for a while, I will.
That sounds wonderful. I need to escape to the forest.
Come on over.
I think we're almost on the total opposite parts of the country right at this moment. Me in Vermont and you in Washington State. Um, so it might take me a minute to get over there, but we'll figure it out.
Yes.
All right. Well, I am delighted. We have been working on getting you on my podcast now for a little bit of time, for a minute, as the young people say. And it's such a delight, and it was exactly what I needed for my soul today. So I am going to remember what's his name again? The little guy?
Croconoche.
Krokonosh. I like
Yes.
that. It
Yeah.
sounds nice off off
Right?
your mouth, like
Mm-hmm.
Krokonosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. He's fun, and
Yep.
yes. So thank you very much for sharing the story of your adventure story. Um,
Yes.
Needless to say, that is one of my favorite show and tales themes. Is my favorite thing, the travel edition, because we all have little souvenirs, and often they are little, right? Because
Yeah.
don't
Because
have
you
very much
have to
food.
haul it with you. Mm-hmm.
Have to be very thoughtful about what we bring, and what we keep, because of the small space that we live in. So, anyway, thank you very much again for sharing that, Annie, and being my guest. And for everyone listening, I invite you to look around your home, look around your space, the things that you wear, the things that you keep that remind you of loved ones, the things that basically are souvenirs of your life, because it really is. Your homes, your spaces are like your personal human museum. And I just want to encourage you to consider the stories of why you keep those things, and make sure that you take a moment to share the stories of those things with your loved ones and people in your life, so that they know why it's important. Like Annie's nieces who will know, or niece who will know the story of this little gnome, so to speak, and know to bring it with them, and to inspire their own type of exploration, whether it's like Annie's or not, because we can explore in all kinds of different ways. So I encourage you to consider that and keep on exploring. And thank you very much for listening to this episode of Things That Matter with Marty McNabb.